Michael, do you live near 3rd and Vermont? And I said, yes. Well, your neighborhood is burning. 1992, the social earthquake, also known as the civil unrest, the rebellion, LA riots. I was in Monrovia, at that time a consultant to World Vision US programs. And they had brought me in to respond to what was going on in South LA. Because there in Florence and Normandy, we know what happened there, most of us, if you've seen or reflected upon or know about that. It was so, we said, what did we do? Because in some ways, World Vision in the past has not just responded to natural disasters, but also to civil unrest. It continues to do that today internationally in terms of the Syrian crisis, etc. So I looked on the TV monitor, because at that time we didn't have cell phones, right? They gave us a cell phone, it was a brick. You know, that was one of those army ones, that was it, that was what we were using. But how to respond? So I drove back, and it was really, let me be honest, the first time, and I've grown up in the cities, that I felt really unsettled and maybe even unsafe, because it was pandemonium. This was Koreatown, what is now known as Koreatown, about 3 miles north of Normandy and Florence. The second flashpoint in the riots, but people don't know necessarily about that. All the focus is down towards South Central, sometimes known now as South LA. So we were having to respond to that crisis. And as I said, it was pandemonium in our neighborhood. The police had pulled back. And let me just be clear, the ones that were looting the high-end stores were not from our neighborhood. I saw those vehicles, the BMWs, come in and taking. The people that were taking from the stores who had an experience in civil unrest from Central America were taking things like water, diapers, toilet paper. You know, that's what, because they knew that it was going to shut down, they were going to have that there too. So in our neighborhood, it was probably one of the most diverse in Los Angeles, and religiously diverse. We had the largest Islamic center west of the Mississippi, Southern California, the Islamic Center of Southern California, had the largest Reformed synagogue west of the Mississippi. We also had First Unitarian, First Baptist, First Nazarene, First Lutheran. There was a lot of first churches there, First Religious Science. And so it was very much how to respond to that kind of engagement. Who do we bring together to begin the process of literally rebuilding not only the infrastructure but relationships in the community. This was 1992. I came there in 1980. And through my work with youth, and we did the work in the community, you know, I had established a presence, right? Had worked to build the infrastructure in terms of getting young people employed, changing that community. So presence and engagement and relationship building was important. Huanxi, right? And it was critical. And I didn't know how critical it was until this eruption in our neighborhood. I got the call, Michael, can you meet us at the synagogue? And I said, of course, Rabbi, I will be there. Because I was there at that point, not only the token evangelical, and I embraced that, but also the token Latino, because they didn't know anybody, any other Latino, much less an evangelical. And we had already created that social capital to say that maybe we can mobilize, because we were one of the largest churches at that time in that community. And so we began and created the Interfaith Coalition to Heal Los Angeles. And that was important for me in the work I have been doing ever since is that those relationships and credibility were important, but it was important because we had worked together already in projects, but we didn't know about the larger role of changing the community. And to this day, Len Mariotti is, is a great colleague. It was Rabbi Fields who was retired, but I was blessed by getting to know through Dr. Mahir Hatut, and on and on and on. But this is where I want to go. So after this work of creating this interfaith coalition to heal Los Angeles, and we did some great actions. We mobilized, we actually mobilized as opposed to organized. Thousands of people to hold hands and link hands from Hollywood Boulevard to Exposition Park, just before your time, Zach. And we did it, thousands of people linked up, and we just did soul of solidarity. But that was after, again, work that we had done to build those relationships. We helped start, we did some projects, like Pueblo Nuevo, who's now Camino Nuevo, out of that, West Angeles Church of God, their CDC, and on and on. We did some good work there, but it wasn't so much about, look at the projects we did, it was these relationships we did. Mm-hmm. And how do we reach out and bring those people in? So after this work, we would meet, we had to meet constantly and regularly in terms of what it means for us to be people of faith coming together. And for me, being the token evangelical, which was okay, was I have to bring other evangelicals into it because they didn't know. The mainliners didn't know how to do that. Like, you'd be okay, whatever. So I brought in one day, where the circle, there was the representation from the Buddhist Council, the Rabbinic Council, the Muslim Public Affairs Council, the various heads of some bishops. I think United Methodist Bishop was there. Key leaders within the Christian church and Lutherans were there. And here's the little Nazarene, I was also the youngest at that time, coming in to do that. So I brought in my brother, my apostolic brother. He believed, he said, I want to be there. Those non-Christians, no, brother, we need you there at the table, right? And so he brought in because he trusted me. Trust, very key to this aspect of it. So come in, they're not going to take your faith away. Come in to do that. And the kind of ritual we did after we did the planning, what we're going to do next, how we're going to bring these people, create all these things we just mentioned. We would close, get in a circle, and they would invite the most recent individual to kind of give us the benediction, kind of bless the effort before we went forward. And so Brother Pettit got up there, and they asked him, said, you're the first one here, one of our guests, and will you bless us? He got in a circle, and he started praying. We pray the blood of Jesus on the heads of this brother. God, we bring that blood. And I'm like, oh no. Oh no. What has happened here? We'll just let it go. And so we went on. So I said, I'm going to get the calls now. And we're an interfaith. We can lift the name of Jesus, but the blood, that's another. You cross the line. So I'm waiting for the call from the rabbi, or even my mainline, brothers saying, like, can you, this is not what we're looking for. And the calls then came, but it didn't happen. I'm going, uh-oh. The extreme, I'm being shunned. I'm being written off. But we had already other meetings set, so I showed up, and I knew they're gonna probably call me over, brother, we appreciate you, but you gotta rein in your other people, and we gotta work on this. And he pulled me aside. I'm going like, I'm completely non-existent now. I'm not even on the radar because I just have offended. I have brought in some more divisive language into the circle. But they had already invited everybody back, and so brother was back. So we did the work, and we went on just like we usually did, that aspect of it. So we were closing up again. We got in a circle, and so they, said, well, we're going to ask someone to close us, and they all went, we want him to close it for us. This one. What? And he did his prayer. He played the blue jam. We lay hands on. I'm going like, wow. What is this all about? What is this all about? But it was insight into what it means for us, for me, as we bring in and we work this. We need to be rooted in our faith. It is out of the font of our faith that really enables us to continue the work, the hard work. When people reject or don't show up at the action we're going to do, what happened? We thought, well, they all said yes, and they don't show up in the numbers we think, or the aspect of what it means to just speak a different language at times. Different language. And I was nurtured by those individuals. And while many have retired, have been called up into glory, that was a defining moment. Though we had done the work, we had done other work. We've done other kinds of activities and projects together. Created a system that no one goes hungry in our neighborhood. No one goes hungry in our neighborhood. So there's a place for food to happen. Those kinds of things. But to rebuild a community meant that all of us had to be at the table. And we all had to be really rooted in our faith. And we come out of that faith into the table. So I thank for Brother Pettit to be true and authentic, that he wasn't going to bind it by things that might going to offend someone. We have to be careful at times, for sure. But to claim it, which he did for us, in the blood of Jesus.